What are those essential money habits that can ultimately position you for financial success? In today's program, we are going to be doing a deep dive into essential money habits that can set you up for success. Some of the things that we will be talking about is your income audit analytics. Why? Because we need people to understand some of the significant reasons behind work. And let me just go into this just a little bit. You work to earn, you earn to save, you save to invest, and you invest to build wealth. Is this part of your psyche? Are these things represent the habits that you're deploying in your financial life? Let me go back to this. You work to earn, you earn to save, you save to invest, you invest to build wealth. Now, if you're working and you don't have these habits, perhaps is another reason why you're going to keep going paycheck to paycheck. Our vision on this platform is to provide you with a rich content of information that will help you to really understand essential money habits that will set you up for success. So, to support me in this conversation today, I have a number of dynamic personalities. As usual, I want to welcome Clement Frank, who is an economist, he's a leader, and he is about to release his new book. I also want to welcome Shavani Sinarain, and she is a project management practitioner. She's a lecturer, and she's a serial entrepreneur. I also want to welcome Elmore Lopez. And Elmore Lopez, he is a cryptocurrency advocate, and he is also in the process of releasing one of his new books. Now, I want to thank you all for being here today. How are you guys?
Great. That's great. That's wonderful.
Midweek,
Great
midweek.
being here.
Mhm.
Midweek, you
Yeah.
got it. All right. I guess when you're in the working world, when you're on the other side of the fence than us, you're gonna say, "I can't wait for Friday to come." And when Friday comes, you say, "Thank God it's Friday." But when you wear our shoes, you can't say that because
Mm.
you work dawn to dawn. Today, I want us to embark on a pretty interesting conversation. One of the reasons I have asked, you guys to support in this type of conversation is largely because we're seeing millions of people across the world, including academics, who are working paycheck to paycheck. And I do believe that if they are in a position of strength to do what we call learn the essential money habits, it will have a significant impact on their lives. In the introduction of this program, I look at a couple of things. What are the reasons for working? All right, you work to earn, but very often we see that most people who are working, they're earning does not permit them to save. So if they cannot save, they cannot invest. And if they cannot invest, they cannot build wealth. So that's a dilemma to be in. We also see that even in cases where you're working enough and you can save, you just don't know what to invest in. All right. Because depending on where you are in the world, you may not have access to stocks, bonds, and mutual funds or hedge funds. You may not have access to ETFs. All right. And these are important concepts for you to understand. And I believe it is a must in today's world to start thinking about investment portfolios. Why? Because it provides secondary sources of income. So when the primary source of income is totally inadequate to help you to live the quality of life that you know that you deserve, it is time to start thinking of secondary sources of income. And secondary sources of income can come from smart investment portfolios. With time, and I'm certain that we will not be able to go into that today, we will take each of these concepts and really expand on them. So you begin to understand that yes, in your economy, you may not have stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and hedge funds, and ETF, and REIT, real estate investment trust. But guess what? There are other possibilities that you need to look at. There are other income producing assets that you can look at that can set you up to have alternative income. So I just want to lay that groundwork just as we get into today's program. And I want to leave you with this because I will base my conversation a whole lot on what I'm about to say. You owe it to yourself to do your income audit analytics. Why is this so important? There are many persons who are working and you have never done your income audit analytics. But let me walk you through what an income and audit analytics represent. If you're earning or when you're earning, you are supposed to be measuring your income against your expenses and your expenses against your balance sheet. Why do you need to do this? We see that many persons, when you measure your income against your expenditure, you have a negative balance sheet. So, what do? Most people do nothing. You go through that cycle of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. You want to know this because you want to understand what is the next step. And the next step is where understanding what is smart investment portfolios, you have to learn it. When you learn this, it's going to set you up for success to start to take place in your life. So today I will spend some time looking at income, expenditure, balance sheet, future plans, and smart investment portfolio. What are your future plans? Are you thinking about owning your own home, driving your own car, being able to take an all inclusive family tour, being able to pay for your children's college funds, or being able to pay for the good education versus the right education versus the good education? These are things that you want to think ahead about. So I'm going to pause here for now. I'm just going to open up the floor. I know each speaker is going to bring a different perspective to the conversation. And that's why we are dynamic people. And that's why you're learning from all of these dynamic personalities that can help put you on a path to success. I want to start now by asking Frank to look at this, help us to understand essential leadership habits, essential money habits from a leadership standpoint. All right. And I would really love to have you chime into this. Frank, all to you.
All right. When we talk about success, financial success, we are being we're talking about financial freedom, isn't that so? The feeling of financial freedom, a lot of persons will never know it. Imagine the panic that sets in your stomach when you see a bill, say for an expensive repair for a car, um, something to the house, and you ask, how am I going to pay for this? But what if it was just an inconvenience? So instead of worrying, you pay the bill without thinking twice. A week later, you've forgotten it even happened. And that's how little it affects your financial situation. It's not an emergency, it's barely a hiccup. Feel that sense of relief? That's what financial freedom feels like. What is financial freedom? You may ask. It means you get to make life decisions without being overly stressed about the financial fallout of those decisions. That's because you're financially prepared for whatever life throws your way. You got no debt, you have no money, you have money in the bank, and you're investing for the future. In other words, you control your finances instead of being controlled by your finances. When you have financial freedom, and we prefer to say financial peace, you have options. You don't have to wonder if your bank account can handle replacing your Say, let's say a hot water heater or buying groceries for a single mom who just lost her job. But how do you go about to achieve financial freedom? The path to financial freedom isn't a get rich quick strategy. Financial freedom doesn't mean that you're free of the responsibility of handling your money well. Quite the opposite. Having complete control over your finances is a result of hard work, result of sacrifice, result of time, and all of that effort is worth it. You ready to learn how to build a life of financial independence for you and family? Let's dive in. The first thing is you got to learn how to budget. No one gets ahead if they don't have a plan for their money. Instead, they will find themselves wondering where is the money, where did it go at the end of every month. And that's not financial independence. That's a recipe for financial disaster. Financial freedom is impossible if you're not living on a budget. And you got to tell your money where to go, or you'll end up wondering where it went. So you give every dollar an assignment before the month begins, track your spending throughout the month. And if you consistently overspend or underspend in certain areas, you can always adjust the amount in those categories. Budgeting is important to get your finances on the right track, but it doesn't end there. Even once you achieve financial freedom, you'll still complete a unique budget every month. No matter how much money you have, you need a plan. No one wins the big championship game by accident. And so you won't get to financial freedom by accident either. Budgeting is a first step to build wealth on purpose. Start budgeting with confidence and take control of your money today because there's an app out there called Every Dollar, and it's one of the world's best budgeting app that can help you. You can Google Every Dollar, and that helps. Um, I've always heard my colleagues talking about going out on the road and they wish they could kick a purse and happen or to win the lotto. Really, I have played lotto so many times I should have been a multi-billionaire now. And I realize
I
it doesn't make sense. So
think.
do it the long way around. Um, get that out of your life is a second way, and get it out of your life for good. So, and let me hasten to say before Gary gets to my throat about that, I am not saying that it's not okay to have debt when it is necessary. But if you have debt like credit cards, student loans, car loans, it's time to kick it to the curb. Why? Because as long as you're sending hundreds of your hard earned dollars in debt payments to banks and lenders every month, you will never truly experience financial freedom. Your income is your most powerful wealth building tool. And you won't reach your money goals if you've got to work with bits and pieces left over after you pay credit card bills and student loan payments. Paying off those debts helps you to lay a foundation to build wealth that will last. So make sure you have, and this gotta be yours, $1,000 saved and put aside for emergencies before you start tackling your debt. You don't want an unexpected expense to derail your progress. Most people feel like they got a raise when they start budgeting, so that's good news for you. Throw all of that extra cash at your smallest debt until it's gone, then keep the snowball rolling. Paying off debt is hard work, but there's nothing like the feeling of actually keeping the money you bring in every month. So, are you ready to begin that free journey? Join with us. Set financial goals. Everybody dreams about achieving financial freedom, including me. It's a great dream, but a dream without a goal is just a wish. That's why setting financial goals, like getting out of debt or saving up for retirement, is so important on your journey to financial freedom because they give you something to work toward. And how do you know if you have a good goal to go after? Now, here's how to set goals that actually work. Be specific, be specific, make your goals measurable, give yourself a deadline, make sure they're your own goals. Put your goals in writing. And let's say you really want to get out of debt. That's a fantastic goal to have, but that's not enough. How much debt do you want to pay off? Is it 20,000, 30,000, less? Now you're getting somewhere. When do you want to be debt free? Does 12 months sound good? Done. And just like that, you now have a specific measure goal that's personal to you with a hard deadline attached to it. I want to pay off $20,000 worth of debt in 12 months. Now, all you have to do is write it down, keep it in front, and center as you go after it. Be smart about your career choice, and I'll close off with this one. As we said before, your biggest wealth building tool is your income. So when it comes to choosing a career, there's a lot at stake. Don't stay stuck at a dead end job, especially if it's making your life miserable. Find a job that you enjoy that also supports your goals of financial security so you can enjoy the journey. So, what should you look for? Here are a few things to keep in mind. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Starting with the end in mind. Does this job make sense with your overall goals? Is there income earning potential? Now, if you're not making your dream salary from the start, make sure there's opportunity for your income to increase as your value increases. Can you grow? Are there opportunities for you to move up and grow personally and professionally? Do you enjoy the work? Don't spend a career at a job you hate. You'll run mad. Finding something you're passionate about that allows you to get to use your gifts and skills. Do the benefits support your goals of financial freedom? Your options for retirement savings and health insurance can dramatically affect your ability to build wealth. So your choice of career can have a big impact on your long-term financial plan. So you need to take it seriously. So you want to learn about discovering doing work that gives you both a great income and big impact? Check with us. And there's a site also you can check is from paycheck to purpose, the clear path to doing work you love. And that's the latest book from best-selling author and career expert Ken Coleman. Over you, Gary.
Yeah. Uh, I really trust that the public, they're taking notes on what is being said. We do these programs because we are humanitarians. Yeah, we are entrepreneurs, but very often we talk also from a humanitarian standpoint, and we want to ensure that we can add value to businesses and we can also add value to the average person who wants to achieve more in life. Frank, you spoke early on about student loan, and I have to support you because the student loan debt today in the US, I think it's $1.70 trillion dollars. And what we're seeing is that less percent of, I think it's about 42 million students who are unable to settle their outstanding balance. And these debts goes on for 10 years and 20 years and 30 years and more. Many of them are unable to offset that debt. So it affects their chance of building wealth because the inability to offset debt means that a derogatory is going to be added to your FICO. And when a derogatory is added to your FICO, if you attempt to go for a house loan, a home loan, It's going to show up and it's going to bar you from accessing additional funds. One of the reasons, again, that we're going to talk about these programs we call essential money habits is largely because the right money habits will say to you, why take a debt and swim in the debt instead of identifying how to create income producing assets that can generate daily, weekly, monthly income and offset the debt that I want, which might be, student loan debt. But you don't have to go to the primary source of income. You see, when you leverage capital in the wrong way, uh, or you borrow capital instead of figuring out how to leverage capital as income producing asset, it becomes like that, itch on your back. You can't get rid of it. All right. So really taking the time to understand financial intelligence is important. I'm coming to Shivani now, but just before I come to Shivani, I want to say a couple of things. Very often, they may say, leave the past in the past. And I want to say bullcrap. I want to say learn from the past. All right. You might have grown up in a challenging environment. You want to use critical thinking to study why you were in that challenging, why your family grew up in a challenging environment. You want to learn from the past so you can influence a brighter future. All right. And part of that brighter future that we are talking about here is to develop your financial master plan. Are you going through your life without understanding what is your financial master plan? While I'm going to say that academic is important, I'm going to say to you that what has great importance is you understanding how to create multiple streams of income for yourself and your family. Yes, you're going to work, go into the workforce, but what about learning how money works for you? So, an essential habits for you to have is to learn how to put money to work for you. And all of those things that I called early on, understanding what is, ETF, exchange trade funds, understanding what is REIT, real estate investment funds, understanding what is stocks and bonds and mutual funds. When you understand all of these and you build healthy habits around learning these things, guess what? All of this sets you up to put money to work for you. Money don't feel pain. So I just want to leave that a little bit with you. I'm going to come now to Shirvani and to help us to understand essential money habits and the significant role that project management can play in optimizing your chance for success. Shivani?
Thanks, Gary. Now, as you're speaking about projects and making more money, because that's what it is. And I was listening to Frank when he spoke about people may be fed up of their jobs. Well, he didn't say it like that. He said it nicer than fed up, right? And you want something else, and you want to know what to do and how to do it. It reminded me, I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and he was telling me, Shivani, I don't know what to do. You know what to do, and you may have gotten different things and XYZ and see how to work it, but I don't know how to work it. So I started to think about what you were saying as well, our whole session here. A lot of people, they don't know how to do this thing, right? So you will end up just going through the system and retiring with whatever pay that you get. And of course, some people will be very happy with it, but the majority of people will not be happy with that, right? So, we'll hear from Elmo in terms of how different you could get different currencies and stuff to do something like this as well. And how you could make extra income. And not only extra income, but sometimes you make more income than normal
Yeah,
your normal salary.
primary source of income. Yeah,
So I wanted to just start this conversation and with my part by saying that people, there's still a fear. There is a big fear, right? That I want to do something, but I don't know what to do, or I'm frightened. I'm frightened I'll lose my money. I'm frightened. It was such a real conversation I was having with this individual yesterday. So I know way back we spoke about the importance of mentoring and the importance of coaching for this. And
yeah,
when you want to, finance persons like yourself and all of us here, and you're giving this kind of advice, we're coming from the point of financial coaches. You coaching. This is a coaching conversation. You're just not telling people, hey, go and do this. You're coaching. You have to find out how the individual will fit into the whole thing before we go and we say this will work, the crypto will work, or whatever financial instruments will work, or set up a business in the US. We have to now know if this is going to work. And this is where coaching comes in. So we need to have a coaching model, right? And in all different fields, I'm seeing the importance of the coaching element of it, coaching conversations, we'll see. And how do you get these money habits, and how project management really could help you? Coming back to this conversation that you asked me now, I want to start with the side hustle talk. The side hustle talk. So in organizations, you're working for a salary, it's not enough. So you talk about a concept known as a side hustle. How do you get a side hustle? All of us may have an idea of something that you want to do, and we call it passion projects. Passion projects. It's my passion. I like to bake, or I like to cook, or what is your passion? And then you could develop it into a side hustle. And sometimes the side hustle, if done really good, it can take over your traditional work. And it's no longer a side hustle, but now your main business that you are employing people for to do your work as well, to work with you, and you're growing and you're scaling up your business. So, monies and habits, how you can start. We will say start small. I don't totally believe in that concept, start small anymore. I mean, I don't think I ever believed in that, right? But I want to throw out the side hustle as a project management way to help us to earn more. But what could be your side hustle? You have to now look at passion projects. All of us will have passion projects. And then from doing these passion projects, you analyze if it is really working. And this is where the project management point comes in, right? So there was this person that I knew. She had a side hustle. Had a normal day job, and she was making cakes. But it really wasn't going well, right? She was complaining, and it wasn't really going well. But the project management whole point and the setting up of the business as a side hustle is real as well. You have to still do that. Don't think it's just going on the side of the road and sell a cake, right? You have to have project management elements as well here. So even if it is a side hustle, many times I am seeing side hustles fail, not because the idea isn't good, the idea is real good, but the project management point of it, something is lacking. So this person with the cakes, I'm saying girl, but this person with the cakes, it was good cake, right? It was nice. It tasted good to me when I tasted it and bought it from her, but she's not continuing this business anymore. And I keep asking myself, as you do analysis, why is it that she's not doing it anymore? So the project management would have been like, have you analyzed the product? Is it that people really like this product? You have to evolve it. Did you have enough resources now to pump to make more cakes? And this was lacking, right? So a lot of project management principles were not there. And therefore, people who want to make more money and understand inside hustles to do it, it just remains as a little hustle and you sell 4 or 5 cakes. But if really understanding the whole real project management take on this, that side hustle will be a massive business and you'll be able to scale it up. So just my little 3 cents for now. And when I come back, I'll talk about one thing before we close up. Thanks, Gary.
Well, Shivani, I like the point side hustle because side hustle can definitely create additional sources of income. And just let me give you an example how I see side hustle. Side hustle could be that you are in management, but you work in the field of communication, and you get a source of income. It's decent, but you want to increase your source of income. So what do? You do some afternoon classes. You develop an online training program, a virtual training program. So you do like 5 lessons, and you bail out virtual content, and that is generating income for you even while you sleep. You see, what you said there, Shivani, was important. Many, very often, you have a good concept, but because you don't understand project management, you don't know how to stress test it, all right, to identify all of the moving parts and how to make it work for you. So you have these great ideas, but you just don't know how to go forward with it. You also made another point, Shivani, which is, people may know that, yes, I should be thinking of additional sources of income, but they just don't know how to do it. And that is a sad reality because you have people who are some of the smartest people in the world who have never been introduced to financial intelligence models. And I do believe that in today's world, it is more needed now than ever. So this is what happened because your analysis is right. We are doing this global analysis and we know this, and that is exactly why we are currently looking at the Science of Success University because we want to bring science to success. So we can take the guesswork and the speculation and the assumption out of the whole equation of positioning yourself for success. So let me just tell you what we see happen. Because of the fact that people don't know exactly what are the next step, they become trapped in fear. They become trapped in fear. And what we see happens also, if you're not trapped in fear, sometimes you're prepared to take risk, but you're taking risk in the wrong way. You're doing front end analytics. When it comes to doing any form of investment, whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or whether you want to think about investing in cryptocurrency and bitcoins, of which I'm learning about, you don't do front end analytics. And what do I mean by front end analytics? You don't hear, hey, this is how people are making money, and you make an investment decision based on that. I must say this is not an investment advice that we're giving here, but we are trying to awaken you to the realities and how the mindset has to change. When you come to us and we do particular diagnostic, we will then make recommendations in terms of what you need to do. But you cannot do front end analytics. You don't make emotional decisions in starting and scaling a business. You don't make emotional decision in getting into investment. That's the last thing that you want to do. So you don't want to be crippled by fear, but then you don't want to be making front end analytics. The kind of decision that you want to be using is what we call back end analytics. And what is back end analytics? The back end analytics allows you to look at the portfolio, look at the history of the portfolio, look at the leaders and players behind the portfolios. So, for example, if you're going to invest in some kind of stock, you want to know that this company they have history, they have been operating for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they have been paying dividends out on a regular basis because you don't want to go put your money into a bond and then you're not getting annual dividend yield because you're not going to achieve the objective. So when you do back end analytics, you're now able to make these type of informed and educated decision to guide your investment decisions. All right, so these are essential money habits that you want to have. It is not enough to say that I'm the brightest, sharpest person in the world and you're going paycheck to paycheck. You don't deserve it, and your family don't deserve it. You want to ensure that you can deploy a content of information, as Frank would have said, that can set you up for financial independence. I'm going to pause here for now, and I'm going to turn to the Master Elmore to talk to us a little bit about, essential money habits and what role do you see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency playing in this. I would love for you to perhaps go into the Bitcoin ETFs because the Bitcoin ETF is a safe investment portfolio because of the spread. And I would have explained early on that ETFs is not one portfolio that you're invested in. It may be 100 portfolios. So if you put $100, your monies are spread across each of these portfolios to bring down the risk associated with it.
Yes.
So, Elmore, all to you.
Yes, definitely. Bill, you made a great explanation as to how you can really mitigate risk to an asset. So it's really important because I come from a learning financial literacy background in my early 20s, and I did those things that we've been everyone has spoken about here, to where I tried to figure out what was the reason why my family was not financially stable. What was it that my mom and my dad were always had a way to find themselves struggling, like in a cycle type of way. And it's definitely, when you took a look at what's going on right now with the cryptocurrency space, the ETF product, the exchange traded fund product, has allowed it for many individuals that feel that that the fear of coming into an asset that they don't feel comfortable in because of many reasons that they might come up with, because they're hearing things here and there and they are unsure because they haven't done their own research. And so now to have a product all over, essentially is starting to happen all over the world, because the ETFs are not just something that got started here in the US. It's now transitioned to where China, that was banning the cryptocurrency space, has just opened up last week ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So now you're going to have to understand that there's going to be a whole new selection of players that are going to come into this space because of the vehicle position that they understand and that they believe in, and the expansion off of that. It's limitless because there is so much data now backing up what the numbers are going to look like. And it's something that I found it quite incredible. I was actually this week I was listening to some individuals that are and I would say they are expert in the area of analytics. And this is one thing that they mentioned, that based on the ETFs that have been provided for the public. And now that we have the United States, we have now China, we have Japan, and we have other areas in the world that are starting to open up these products to the public. The numbers that are looking at is that we currently have around $5 billion in the space. And what is projected based on the numbers is that there's a inflow that is going to turn that 5 billion to 150 billion. Now the math was very simple. They used an arithmetic um, system to be able to come up with the data, and it makes total sense, because what's happening is that there is so much so many entities want to get involved in the cryptocurrency space, but they don't trust it and they don't understand it. And so with having a vehicle like an exchange traded fund that is now mitigating risk, which means it's limiting the amount of exposure, but it's also opening your exposure to be able to gain more out of the space. It is going to become that one conversation that it's essentially happening now with areas of, or I would say categories of individuals that before they would not even look at a space, because it was a space that it was too high risk, it was too volatile, it was too unsure, it's unregulated. And so now to be able to have all of, and I won't want to speak about the exchange traded fund vehicle. There's too many other vehicles in this space now that you're able to allow your funds to grow, because essentially what we're looking for is to be able to grow our funds, to be able to grow the capital for our families, and to be able to do this in a manner that is going to be continuous. And so there is areas in this space now that you can't just put your funds to work. And there's two different ways. You can do what's considered staking, and I don't know. I've done this with one project, and it was the Cardano project. I didn't do it with the Ethereum project. Everyone can look that one part up. But what's going on is that you have a percentage that is going to be essentially dedicated right to compounding. So when we start to talk about compound interest, we could think of a traditional product like a index universal life insurance, which is it compounds interest as the life of the insurance life goes. So now you have this one product in the crypto space that also allows you to do that, but now you have another product that's in the space that it's really weirdly named farming. Now, I'm going to explain because this is a complete new term to many individuals. What is farming in the cryptocurrency space? Well, farming is essentially you becoming a investor on a project because what you are essentially doing is because of the project having a more high risk because it's in the developing stages, you get a higher rate of return percentage. Now you have to understand and mitigate risk in that area. However, once you are able to start to get in with the winners in the space, which are the ones that you can literally just see they're developing, making headlines. This is the most simplest way to put it, and you are able to come in here and sometimes make 10% on your funds, sometimes make 5% on your funds. Sometimes you might get lucky and there is a very high transaction day. You might even end up making 14% on what you put in initially for the project to be able to farm. And so this is just three of the ways that you are now able to get into the space. Obviously, having the exchange traded funds as the most reliable and the most safe route to take, especially for
Mhm.
professionals that are not allowed to invest into this space, because we have to understand that too, that there is a group of people that are not allowed to invest in the space, and through the exchange traded funds, now they are allowed to get into the space, which we're seeing inflows that are surpassing what it's being
Okay.
created on a daily.
Okay. All right. Bridge here, Elmore. We have this much a deep dive into this. Uh, I wouldn't do it now because I want to come to Frank. I know he has to run. But just quickly, some of the things that I would love for us to talk about as time progresses is the hedge, how I can hedge my risk, and perhaps if there's any derivative, which is also a hedge when it comes to either forward, future, swap, or option derivatives. So there's a lot to get into in this particular space. I want to compare this to other financial instruments,
Right.
and so we can bring a complete picture to the public. Uh, Sam Bankman Fried, I think he has messed up the industry. Not that the industry in of itself is bad, but the player behind the industry was totally, out of character when it comes to representing the portfolio, which makes the entire platform look very shaky and very risky. But we'll
Yes.
get into that as time progress.
Definitely.
Master Frank, all to you. I'm going to come back to you, Elmore. Master Frank, you're mute.
I'll continue in the um, points that I was talking about in that leads to financial freedom, and this one cannot be overstressed where you need to save money for emergency. I mean, if your goal is financial freedom, you will need a fully funded emergency fund because it acts like a buffer between you and the unexpected life events that happens to all of us, like the car repairs, broken appliance, medical deductibles, and that's why you should increase your emergency fund to cover, say, 3 to 6 months of expenses once you're out of debt. Having the cash in hand to cover an unexpected life event gives you peace of mind and is a critical part of your overall financial plan. And once you have fully funded savings account, you will start to feel more flexibility in your budget. You'll be able to say yes to shopping splurges and specialty lattes with no guilt at all. Plan for the big purchases. Since you're not taking on debt, you'll need a saving plan for big purchases that are not emergency. Let's take summer vacation, for example. It's simple. Create a line item in your monthly budget and divide the total amount your vacation will cost by the months you have to save. You're not living in debt anymore. And that means you can enjoy your vacation instead of having a credit card bill follow you home. With a full emergency fund and a plan to cover big purchases in place, you will have the financial foundation to start investing. And so we go to the point of invest for your retirement future. Now that you have a plan for short term savings, you're ready to partner with a financial advisor. This is where we come in because we can help you make the most of your long term investment option. The good news is the sooner you start investing, the more time your money has to grow. And that's the power of compound growth at work. Um, how should you invest? Invest 15% of your income toward retirement. And if your employer offers a match on contribution to save for whatever pension plan, 401k, etc., take it. Never say no to free money. The next point is look for ways to save money. Now, if you haven't taken a good look at exactly what you spend your money on every month, it's time to dig into your spending habits. It is easy to go through the hustle and bustle of life and forget about your gym membership that you sign up for from the beginning of the year, but you didn't use it in months. Are all these streaming services you signed up for, even though you only watch a couple of hours of television each week? And here are a few ways you can save money right now. Buy generic over name brand. Mm,
Yep,
hmm
yep.
It's sinking in because everybody wants the name brand. Meal plan and take leftovers to work. Ah, gross. Brew your own coffee at home. Pause or cut subscriptions and memberships.
Gin and
Emergency.
tonic.
Yes, 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 yes. Cut back on KFC. Yes.
I noticed
Emergency.
you didn't say cut back on KFC first.
You know, right? It's because he talk.
But I, I have already cut back because we get KFC ads. I got cut back attacking with it.
You have some cash apps and coupons that you can use. And guess what? Even though you've achieved financial freedom, or most people who reach more than 93% of millionaires still use coupons to save money on their purchases. It turns out saving money is a hard habit to break. Live below your means. In other words, you've got to live on less than you make. And it goes right along with having a budget. To reach financial freedom, you will need to have self discipline, be willing to say no to some stuff that you can't afford to buy right now so you can save more in the long run. Listen, I'm not saying it's bad to have stuff or want nice things. I just don't want your stuff to have you. When you buy that car or that house without money, you don't have to impress people you don't even like because you constantly find yourself caught in the vicious cycle of debt and overspending. And that's not a recipe for financial freedom. In fact, it's just the opposite. And I'll accept this one here. Help your children save for college. So if you're already contributing 15% of your income to retirement and you want to start saving for your kids' college fund, so you can start by investing in some education savings account. If you want to save beyond the education saving account, or you don't qualify to contribute one, talk to a financial advisor about some financial plan, because these plans also grow tax free. Just be aware there are some over 500 plans you should avoid. Stay clear of prepaid tuition plans and fixed investment options. The great thing about saving for your kids' college is that by helping them avoid student debt, you're setting them up for financial freedom too. I remember when my girls started university, um, I just paid every semester. We have, Susu in Trinidad and Boxan here, and you put money every month into that. So by the end of a semester, you have that amount covered. So none of my children have college debt. The second one doesn't have college debt because she's on a government scholarship. So all these things, as parents, you have to look at if you want financial freedom, not just for you, but for your children, because you don't want this vicious cycle of debt to be repeated from generation to generation. The buck stops with me, and that's how you have to look at it. Thank you, Gary.
All right, great share, Frank. There's so much that I want to say, but I'm going to leave the fight for later on, right? I'm going to run from this fight, right?
Yeah,
You're
I got
saying
to
a
run.
lift. All right, buddy. You have a great day.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah,
Elmer will
good luck.
talk. Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah. All right. What I want to come alongside Frank and say is that their wealth creation is a mindset. And when we get the mindset right, we get wealth creation on steroid. And let me give some example of what I'm saying here. Let us say that you're a single person who wants to journey your way to build wealth. And perhaps you're thinking, I can use income producing asset as one way to build wealth. But to start with the income producing asset is going to be, let us say, about $10 million. But you don't have that. And for you to get some skin in the game, you at least need to get 10% in the game to start to play the game, which means that you need to at least have $1 million saved up. But you don't have that. So what do you do? What is your mindset saying to you? You want to build wealth. You have a clear mental picture of the strategy that you can deploy to position yourself to start building wealth, but you just don't know how to do it. Let me give you some tricks here, some hacks here. There's a concept that we call collaborative economies. What exactly does this mean? You as a single individual, it may take you a long time to accumulate $1 million from your single source of income. It's going to take you a long time. But guess what? The possibility exists that if even you're saving, or you can save $100,000 per month, it's going to take you 10 months to get there. But what if it's an opportunity that presents itself and you can't wait 10 months to acquire the income producing asset? But guess what you do? You focus on collaborative economy. So you talk to about 10, 15 friends who have similar income like you, and they all can deposit $100,000 into the pool. Guess what? In 1 month, you have $1.5 million because you interface with 10 bodies. Collaborative economy. And because you have this collaborative economy, you now have the deposit, the 10% deposit and more to put down on that $10 million income producing asset. Essential money habits to push you forward. So now you have the money. You don't have to worry what steps you can take to acquire the asset because you use collaborative economies. Now you have the asset, and guess what? It's producing income, daily income, weekly income, monthly income. It's giving you asset appreciation. You can take out the equity from that asset. You can leverage the equity into other income producing asset. Again, it's a mindset. But if you're not trained how to think in this way, you're going to be trapped where you don't want to be trapped. You're going to be trapped in paycheck to paycheck cycle. And that's not what you want. Remember, you're the smartest people the world has ever known. And why should your life, your future be hijacked because of the lack of finance? Our platform here, and this is why we're going to put a lot of work into the science of Success University. And in this platform, what we are bringing to you is not supposition and speculation. We are bringing to you data, evidence-based processes that's going to set you up for success. So I'm going to pause here for now, and I'm going to come across to Shivani, and then we're going to start to close out as we come to Elmore. But just in closing, wealth creation is a mindset. And when you learn the right money habits, you're going to be able to set yourself up for success. And let me come briefly again to Shivani point. Shivani talked about side hustle. My side hustle could be a springboard to make massive amount of money. A bi-weekly barbecue could be, a nice way of generated money. It don't have to be sophisticated projects, but 100 people, and you can get 100 people, invite 2 persons each. That's 300 persons. All right. And you build a community, and every 2 weeks you hosted a barbecue. That's money coming in. That's side hustle. You don't need that money. That money going into a smart investment portfolio, and it's accumulating every 2 weeks. So Shivani said it. Sometimes we know what we can do, but we just don't know how to do it. Our role is to keep pushing you in the right direction because we believe in you. And it's time that you start believing in yourself. And we're going to give you the mentorship, the coaching, and the support to optimize your level of success because we know that you're the greatest asset the world has ever known and the greatest asset the world will ever know. But it begins with you now believing in yourself and start to work with a group of people that want to work with you because we want the best for you. Shivani, all to you.
Thanks so much, Gary. Now, we're talking about side hustles, as you're saying, and some of the best side hustles, having a barbecue. It just triggered something in my mind, that is such a true statement. People know people, people, you have an idea, and you just throw it out. Well, in Trinidad, we have the biggest carnival, right? And a lot of persons, started like that. They did their carnival fetes, as we call them. Just some small fetes, and these are major promoters now, right? Because they understand, they had an idea, say the market is ripe for this thing. They had I know of many of them who had normal 8 to 4 jobs, and
Yeah.
they're no longer in the 8 to 4 jobs. They're now in this carnival space, making money all across the world. So, and it's no longer 8 to 4, it will be forever for them, 8 to 8, eight
Yeah.
to whenever you could sleep.
But I
But
don't mind because they're
they don't
seeing
mind.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And you are able to get resources to pump into it. So you have to have the mindset. And as you said, a lot of times people will think what they know will never make them the money. Right? They said, I'll never make them Indian money. I need to go into a normal job and get paid and sit behind a desk, or office work, as we call it, right? But that's good too. We're not saying no at all. That's good too. But your mindset must be there. You also said that we spoke about it a way back. Look back in your ideas from childhood, and you might be amazed at all the ideas that you had. I mean, I do that all the time, and that's how I am evolving with a lot of ideas that I have as well, and over the years. So the ideas are there. You have it. All of us will have those ideas, but then it's just a thought until you do something about it, as we keep saying. So the mindset must be there. Confidence must be there. In order to make more money with these side hustles, you have to have confidence in yourself. Um, I wonder if I will say it's totally confidence here, or it's just sometimes some people might just say luck, you luck out. You take a product and it works, you luck out. One of my main points for that one will be knowing people, right? So networking for these things, simple thing is networking. Your family is your network. Your friends is your network, as you said. So look at your network. Depending on the product that you are pushing, you should look at a global network. And I know many persons, not many persons, a few persons would have spoken about it. You know, you have the different countries, and you just see who do you know in these countries. I remember there's a saying known as the 6 degrees of separation, right? Between you and
Mm-hmm.
myself, there's just 6 people that we know between the two of
Mm-hmm.
us. So networking is a true thing. Yeah. Don't think that you don't know somebody in another part of the world. It's all connected. Look, I know Elmo now, and I didn't know him before. And I'm sure if we start to talk, there's 6 degrees, and you would have been one of them before I know him, right? And you knew him. So it's a very small world. And until we start to think like that, we'll remain in small little side hustles. That's what I'm trying to say. Do not
Yeah.
think in that this is how you will evolve your side hustle as well. So the project management part of it is collaboration and networking. Collaboration is important. You spoke about the collaborating economies, so it's very important for side hustles and how you could grow it. So my closing points for how project management could help you to make more money really would be: one, start with a side hustle. Don't think it can't work. Network with people. You have people in your circle. That's the first thing, that people will ask me. They want something to be done. And I had a supervisor like this. And up to now, she's retired, but she will call me up and she said, well, who's in your circle that could do this? Who's in your circle? And I feel very happy that she thinks that about me, that people know that I have a big circle. But it's a small circle, but somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. That's what we are saying here. So that's how I think in terms of whatever I want to do, who's in my circle? And my circle will not be just in the country that I live because I'm a global citizen. That's how we have to think. You are global. We are all global. We are all part of this large space that we call the universe, right?
Yeah.
So global thinking will help us here. Global thinking will help us here. So, closing remarks: your side hustle could work, project management could help you. One of the main points in project management would be your ability to network, your ability to collaborate. Right? And I'll keep some things for next week then, right? To come back again. And I
Perfect.
know Frank spoke about brands and all of that. Frank, you had to tell Frank, I had to tell Frank, I'll talk to him later on that, right? I don't know if I could give up certain things, right? I don't know if I could give up certain things. So if I can't give it up, what I'll do, I'll make more money to keep having it as well, right?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. But no, but Shivani, you made some great points, and I just want to come alongside you to re-emphasize that. I do believe that essential money habits to have, uh, really everything you said can be is a springboard. But let me put it this way: ensure that you have value that people value. That side hustle, make sure it's something that people value. People like eating like me, right? I'm not gonna call them name because they're running no ads. So me ain't calling no name, Shabani. All right. But make sure you have value that people value. And once you have value that people value, or you are value that people value, every single thing that Shivani said there is so important. Network, network, network. It is something that you need to invest in: time, talent, and resources. Invest into building quality relationships with key people. It
Yes.
could be simple persons,
Yep.
but you still need to invest in relationship because relationship is the mother of all social systems. You rise and fall based on the quality of relationships that you have with the right people. So the point that Shivani would have made is so profound
Hmm.
when you want to position yourself for success. The right network can really accelerate the speed in which you realize your degree of success.
Yes.
Network, network, network. I just can't emphasize it enough. Survivor, I can spend the rest of this program just saying network because I want people to get it. The importance of fostering healthy, productive relationship through networking, global network. And just let me give a quick example. There are this book, the world over supposed to know the book, I think Harry Potter, one of the Harry Potter series. And one of the experience that that book would have had is that it became public now, and within 1 hour, all the books were completely sold out because the agency behind them, they had global networks. And they educate the public, this is going to be coming out. And from the time it came out, bam, 1 hour, finished. That person became a multimillionaire 10 times over
Mhm.
because of networking, because of value chain systems. So it's important to take note of the points that Shivani would have made. It's vital as essential habits, essential money habits. My guy Elmore, all to you, your closing remarks. There's so much. I mean, every time we come to your space, I know that we got to just find some time and take them baby step by baby step because
Yes.
I know the world over they have so much of fear. They are crippled by fear because of what is happening in the space. I might say they have some justifiable reason to be fearful, but our role is to get them past fear and to get them to where they're able now to make what we call the back end analytics and use data to make informed and educated decision. Because if even your crippling fear is still emotional decision, if you're using front end analytics, you're still, emotional decision. You want them to come to that point where they can be educated consumer. And something that I find happens a lot, Elmore, people that don't know, people that have fear, they permeate this fear, they escalate this fear into the heart, mind, and soul of other people. So you find a bunch of people they're running based on fear, and there's nothing to really be fearful of. But because you have some influencers who are spewing fear, it just happened.
Yes.
I think what educated people do is try to help other people to have the right information so they can make informed and educated decision. So we have a challenge to do so. You're
Definitely.
the expert in this space. So can you, in your closing remarks, can you help us to be a little bit more educated on how to minimize risk associated in your platform? All to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, this is great. I'm going to quickly pick up on that thread that you guys were going on. And I feel like the one thing about financial literacy is that when you're coming in to start to create an income, you have to learn to pay yourself first. If you
Yep.
don't pay yourself first, then you're doomed for disaster. But now, as far as getting
The
involved
more you
in
can get yourself in trouble. All right, because you say bring the tithes and offer it home first. I'm
well,
kidding, right?
no,
On to
no,
you.
you're
I
right.
like it though. I like it,
Networking,
right? I love it, right?
yes, yes. No, and then networking, it's also super important. Without a network, you essentially are that's going to be your make or break moment, and depend on the relationships that you have is going to really supercharge you to the next level, or is going to keep you stuck. So this is very important to always work on those networks. However, there is the to be able to get over right, and to have an educated and a wise decision into jumping into a space like cryptocurrency, which because of the um, all of the bad things that have happened in this space have been so amplified that it has really dimmed down the ability for people to gain access and to really view the positive aspects of the space, and what's not just in happening in the space, but what's being developed for the future. And so, and something that I think that it's really big that I tend to see a lot of individuals always. are able to tell me all of the amplified negative things in the space, but they have no clue of the positive things that are not being amplified. And so and that's where I really come in, and I really drill it in and start to kind of put you in front of these examples that are live. And one of them, because I know you mentioned earlier the FTX crash. I remember the Mount Gox crash that was in 2017. That these individuals, they still have not really gotten those funds back. They really still have not resolved it. Right, this was one of those negative things that happened in the space, because it's essentially like every new space, it's unregulated, and so things, bad actors tend to happen. However, we have to take a look at the good things, and one of the very good things that we could take a look at right now is the country of El Salvador. If you look at the country of El Salvador, they have implemented Bitcoin as the medium of exchange in this country. That's because their local currency was overinflated to the point that it was worthless. They had to switch over to dollars, and then once this new president came on to power, Nayib Bukele, he just completely turned the whole entire country around and turned it from a third world poverty country to what it's now being talked about the world's richest country in the next 4 years. And the reason why this has happened is because when you are not able to just take uh, what's called, you know, separating money from the state, and now you have free money, and you're able to implement it in a way that you are able to educate the whole entire, from small all the way to big. You're able to educate and start initiatives in the space as to be able to get individuals, like teaching kids how to do a simple transaction using a cell phone, to where you have teenagers in this country that are learning how to set up their own Bitcoin nodes. And so now when you start to, get those little different parts of the whole entire ecosystem, that there you have, individuals that are working on each one of these areas, you start to actually see now a whole complete different picture, that it's completely run away from fear mongering, that is completely run away from the amplification of the negative aspects of the space. And now it gives you this whole entire broad view that you had a country that before 2021, so I'm not talking about a country that they've done this since Bitcoin started. They did this change in 2021. And because this country only had, and this is why I've said this before, that cryptocurrency was not made for the bank, it was made for their own bank. So this country took their whole entire, pretty much, there's about 2 million people
Financial
in this country.
system.
They took 25% of the population that only had access to banking accounts, to now 75% of the country it's involved in the monetary system, because of the switch over to a cryptocurrency that it allows individuals that do not have access to banking systems to have access to a monetary system. So now you have a country that's the country that's completely flourishing, and that it's now set themselves up to become the world's richest country. Now, to put it into perspective, since 2021, we have to understand that we had a bull market right after that, because they started it in September, and then right after we had the bear market, which we have been experiencing for the past 2 years. However, because of this country being so proactive in this space, and to getting involved into the mining of cryptocurrencies, and to be able to get involved in all of these different aspects of cryptocurrency, they have been able to pay off their debt to their country that they were indebted to, which was the US. And now they are on track to be able to pay off the debt with the International Monetary Fund. Now, if we understand anything about GDPs, if we understand about anything about country debts, we have to take a look at what is going on in the country that I'm in the United States. As this country turned away from the dollarization and stepped away to this whole new entire ecosystem, you have to now take a look. They were able to pay off their debt. They are now in a positive. Well, why is the United States in $30 trillion of debt? So that now you have this really good picture as to, wait, this has saved this whole entire country, while keeping into this old clunky system that it's the fiat currency system that we understand it to be completely useless because it has zero intrinsic value, they have to keep on getting into more debt, and so that ecosystem is just ruining, right? It's getting ruined. So now we have a really good picture, not just there. Now we have the first tokenization, and I'm going to go very quickly to this. The tokenization of assets. The HSBC Bank of Japan has joined with Ripple Labs to be able to have the international settlements for their payments. Not just that, they are using now the blockchain ecosystem, and this is the first bank to be able to tokenize physical gold. So you're going to be able to now trade physical gold on the blockchain because of that little block that is called a token, right? That little block in the ecosystem. It's now attached to a physical uh, commodity. This is huge because this completely changes the world as we know it today. However, in order to be able to take advantage of all of these things, we have to be able to be informed and be willing to take in information and be willing to look at the not so amplified, news in this space that tend to be mostly negative, and that's essentially what sells the most. But to be able to be with individuals like me and to be able to show you all of this information and that you are going to be able to see it live because now we have a track record to be able to see the data, it's completely going to revolutionize the way you think about cryptocurrency because now you don't have all of this amplified negative. You have now proof, you have tested, you have a whole entire country, and many others that are starting to jump on, and we have the ETF system now that the ETF product essentially for many it bona fides the ecosystem to where, oh, now this is serious. So now to see all of these things happen in the midst of all of the chaos, um, this is this is something that I'm able to do, and I'm really excited to be able to do so, which is what forced me to write the book about the future of money, because of this whole entire new ecosystem. And another thing that I think individuals need to get, and this is going to be big for you guys, is that the whole entire financial system, what we know is as the SWIFT, which it was essentially what allowed cross border payments to happen for the world. This has already been switched over to a new system called the ISO 222. Now, I want you to understand this really one aspect. We're getting away from the old, super expensive and super not working properly financial system to where for me to send you money to your country will take 7 to 10 days and there will be a huge amount of fees going on. Now we're switching over to the blockchain. So the ISO 222, the brand new financial system that's being implemented to the world, it's running on the blockchain. So now you're going to have faster payment settlements. You're going to have cheaper transaction fees. So this is all taking place now. This is all already have been implemented since 2023 when it was switched over. It's just that it's little by little taking is picking up the ground to where the wholesale accounts were going in first, and now they're focusing on starting to make the switch to retail accounts, which will be regular banking accounts that me and you would use. So this is all taking place little by little. The
Mm.
fact that the negative has been so amplified has taken away the focus from all of this development that is taking place, that like I keep on saying, is going to catch people like a freight train without a horn. So you have I'm being the horn. I'm trying to be the horn so that people are able to capture, what's really going on, because this is going to be the one transfer of wealth that is going to happen in our lifetime. It will not happen again in our lifetime, and we are now witnessing it happen. So yeah, I'm very excited and very important that everyone understands what I said,
Right.
because it'll definitely bring you to a complete whole new way of thinking and seeing things from a different perspective, which is what it's necessary in order for you to be able to start to make, wise decisions.
Great. All right, great share, Elmore. What I want to add, um, based on all that you would have said, is that the SEC, which is the Security Exchange Commission, They control the American financial market. On this platform, I would have explained some of the essential role that the SEC is set up to play. What I want to add in relation to cryptocurrency is this: the SEC oversees the issuance and sales of securities, including digital assets that meets the definition of securities. What I'm saying here, in other words, this means that cryptocurrencies that meet the criteria to be considered securities must be registered with the SEC. That means that it's under regulation now by the SEC, and they must comply with those regulations.
Right. So
So, good. In previous times, we used to say that the cryptocurrency space is not regulated. Now, once the currency reaches the criteria to be considered a security, it must comply with the SEC regulations. And so
correct.
that there's some major changes that is taking place in this space. And this is why I want to emphasize, you want to be educated consumers and you want to be educated advocate in favor of or against, but you want to ensure that you're using information to inform your decision making process.
Yes.
Again, this is why on this platform you would hear me talk a lot about evidence base.
Yes.
All right, you hear me talk about research. It's about
Yes.
collecting sensitive data, analyzing sensitive data, leveraging sensitive data, and being able to mitigate the data to inform your decision making process. So
Right.
thanks for that share.
Well, one more
Yeah,
thing,
go ahead.
because of you touched that point, and I want to touch that real quick. The SEC versus the XRP case has redefined that Bitcoin and XRP are not securities, but are commodities. This changes the whole entire game because now you do not have capital gains tax on these assets, and it completely allows you to use it as you would any currency. So now that this has been, you know, essentially ironed out, you have two currencies in the space that are not considered securities. And they're even talking about making Ethereum a commodity instead of categorizing it as a security. So yeah, this is going to bring huge clarification to the space, and to understand that this is a two cryptocurrencies are not going to be securities but commodities by law. It's completely going to change the whole entire game. So this is has already happened, and as we are seeing the XRP and the SEC are in the settlement phases now, this is going to remain permanent. So it's going to be an amazing time for individuals that are going to get to know this information, and they're going to be able to really take advantage of what's happening.
Great, great. All right, I want to say this, however, that all that we're seeing, it means that the cryptocurrency, those that reach the criteria, they are regulated by the SEC. Hip hip hooray! Be happy about that, because it means that you have the dogs that are regulating how this entity, this currency, this security operates. Now, let me say this: that doesn't take away the risk associated with any investment portfolio. You still need to work with the expert, financial analysts, and others that can help you to analyze market realities before you make any form of investment decisions. I just want to put this out there because, again, the reason why we emphasize again collecting sensitive data, analyzing sensitive data, leveraging sensitive data, mitigating sensitive data, it means that you are oriented, you're sensitive, and you're now able to respond in the market based on the information. Thanks for that share, Elmore. Shabani, the last word is with you. Closing remarks. Coming
I
back
thought
to
I
you.
closed off already. I thought I
I want
closed
to
off
hear your
already.
voice, man. You want to hear your voice.
Oh gosh, oh gosh. Yes. So I will.
Perhaps you can tell us you have a major event coming up in May.
Oh,
Perhaps you
okay.
want to give us some insights on that.
Right. Well, thanks for doing that then, and reminding me about the major event in innovation project management event. It's a 6 week training, and I look forward to, bringing more knowledge in this innovation project management. So it's a big event, and I mean, we've done this event already. This is the third time that we're running it, but it's really bringing great ideas in how you can be more innovative and how you could use design thinking to generate a lot more ideas. So it's like everything that we were speaking about so far in this from last year to now when we started the business boot camp. How do you get more ideas? How do you project managementize it? How do you ensure that you could scale it up as well? So, innovation project management 101 as we see. So I look
Awesome.
forward to bringing that information as well.
Awesome. Well, keep tuning in. You're going to be hearing so much more about this innovative initiative that Shivani is going to be hosting. Shivani, forget to mention you're going to be learning also how to make massive amounts of money, because when you get the innovation right, you're able to appeal to the right audience. The right audience are now more inclined to invest with you to help your business to grow and you to cash flow maximize. So there's a lot that is going to be coming up from Shivani. So keep following, keep logging in, and you'll be getting so much more information. I want to thank my team here today. Clement is not here, but I want to thank him in his absence for always showing up and adding value. I want to thank you, Elmore. I know you're playing in a very critical space. A lot of people are fearful of this space. The question I was to ask you, however, is why is it that those who are playing in cryptocurrency, they are we call the pit bulls of sales. When they call you, they don't stop calling. They are aggressive in this field. They're like pit bull and lion crossover. These guys are aggressive. We'll talk about that later on. And again, I want to thank Shivani for always being here, always bringing value to the conversation. Well, I don't need no introduction. I don't need no tap on the back. Everybody know what it means. I want to thank the audience. Today we have over 35,000 persons who have subscribed to this platform. I want to thank you from the depths of my heart for supporting this program. In spite of the fact that we have seen over 35,000 persons have subscribed to the platform over the last 2 months plus, we've seen over 70% of the persons who are viewing the program and you have not yet subscribed. So I want to encourage you to press that subscription link. It's free. All right. Love, subscribe, and share so you will be the first to get these programs that we're bringing to you on a regular basis. I want to thank those who have been giving comments, making comments in the chat. We like that. If there's any particular program that you want us to bring, do send us a chat, and we would be so happy to build out that program to support you. And keep listening out, because very soon we're going to be talking to you a whole lot about the Science of Success University. So if you want to be successful, what is the science behind success? I believe you me, we're going to be talking a whole lot about the science behind every form of success. So stay with us. Thanks, team. Great having you guys today. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon.